Yo, what is good? My anime people, what is good, yo? Um, Before I get into the video, I would just like to say that I had my account recently hacked and like pretty much people are going through it and resetting everything. So, um, with that being a thing and me trying to take any precautions to try to stop it, Uh, I honestly don't know if I did or not. So if I just randomly disappear off of certain things, then it's probably because I have been hacked and stuff like that. So um, fortunately enough, this isn't on this account. It doesn't have the same email address. But if you guys have any advice on hacking or getting your password and usernames and all that stuff back. I also, mind you, I don't use computer, so it wasn't a virus that I got off a computer. It was a virus I got somehow off my phone through my email. So yeah, if you guys have any tips or tricks for that, please let me know, so I can not be stressing as much as I already am. But yeah, this week's episode of That Time I Was Reincarnated as a Slime Man had me feeling just like when I found out my email address got hacked, bro. Like, watching the idiot of all idiots try to take over and doing so, and seemingly everything was going right until it wasn't anymore. Yeah. I could kind of see where this is going. We're about to get some stronger, like enemies than we should be getting because of these guys going out on the battlefield. There's no way that they're all going to make it out of this unscathed, including seeing how we really got to see the fear of his father, the lizard man's father, this week's of just how much information he actually knows about what an orc lord can actually do. So knowing that, it should be pretty clear that whatever happens from like here on in, it's probably gonna be pretty messed up for the lizard people until Rim and them like actually show up. But remind you, this is like it was 5 days, so there's still 2 days until they even make a move, you know. So it kind of it kind of defeated the whole purpose that was set between them and the standards. And I mean, the one thing I never understand about like people who seemingly think they're right about everything, or people who are supposedly supposed to be like big leaders and all this junk. Um, if you are, that high and mighty and all that, why are you even taking the advice of anybody? Like, why did someone show up and whatever they say, you treat it as law? Like, oh, I should go and do this and I should go and do that because you told me, not because um, not because I think it's the right idea. It's because someone gave me the idea to be, uh, in this position to do all this stuff. So, I mean, it makes sense for the character that we're dealing with to do something like that because he's an idiota. But at the same time, it just hurts like the whole reputation of the lizard people now because they were told not to fight. Um, the dad knows of what an orc lord can do once they get in a fight. So not only did they pretty much, they're helping the orcs at this point. They're helping them be able to defeat Rim's army pretty much by sending out soldiers that are going to make them seemingly quicker. That is seemingly what the lizard man kind of had going for them. And the only reason why they were moving quicker at the moment was mainly because of the person who, like, I'm trying to think. So the only reason why they were moving quickly was because the orcs were in the swamp, or like the pig monsters were in the swamp. So because of that, that's not like a normal terrain that they would fight on. Like they're big hulking giant pigs. So the best thing they would want to be on is some flat ground, kind of like the desert that the first Orc Lord was found from. So it's funny to me that we're looking at this, um, all of this playing out the way it is, and just by knowing that the idiot going out into that fight is going to strengthen those pigs is just ridiculous. I mean, not only are they going to eat each other and get stronger, they're also going to eat your lizard people if any of them die. So he's learning real quick about that fear, just like how the narration kind of like goes to explain. It's just like one of them's been in this situation, the other is ignorant to it, and the person who's been in the situation is now locked up. So they're pretty screwed from what I can tell. How did I miss that? And because of these guys doing this, I honestly don't know like how many of these lizard men will even make it out now. Um, I mean, it's not like the pigs were, getting taken out super super easily. But at the same time, they were getting taken out nonetheless. So it's like the army already doesn't have like the best like unstoppable forces ever because they could be taken out. But I think the deaths of them in this week's episode was a lot easier because of the terrain they were fighting in. They were fighting in like a mucky swamp, so they didn't have like really any true like movement. And the lizard people clearly probably fight in that type of area all the time, hence why it was a good surprise attack for them to be able to do. And it also that comes down to what he said about his father, just like you've grown old, like that's what he expect. What he's doing is pretty much everything he expected his father to do. So it's like we're kind of watching the younger version of him, do all this because the the person we know now, the chief or whatever, he would not do this just by knowing what he knows. So it kind of sucks that he's going to have to now let his men experience that, not only his men but his son as well. So we'll see if this is a learning experience for him, like a growth changing experience, or if he just is always going to be quite slow in the head. I mean, it's not that hard to figure out that if your chief just got an alliance and the only thing you're saying that he's doing wrong is not fighting these army out on their out in further turfs, or like forming up everybody and then just marching out, there should have been a reason for it. But instead of seeing reason for why his father's doing that, he only saw old and like his thinks his dad is crazy and stuff like that. So it was pretty hard to watch that aspect, but learning about the drag, and even that great sage really trusts her and knows that she brings divine judgment. She seemed kind of I don't know, she just seemed kind of carefree for somebody who is asking for help, and I guess asking for help by someone like Rim, and knowing that she knows everything about this man, like everything that the slime has done up to now, she named it off like pretty much nail in the hammer. Like, oh, you've eaten the dragon, you've you've taken over the orcs, or not orcs, the goblins ask you for salvation. uh Not only did you do all that for them, that's not even your race, you then fight some wolves that are attacking the goblins. You subdue the wolves, you don't kill them, you bring them to your side. And then not only all that, you then get these other orcs or ogas. I think I'm still pronouncing that wrong. I always get flack in the comments. Um, that's why I just call them the pigmen, and then we got the samurais. Like their spelling just looks too close to me. Um, but and I haven't heard it like pronounced in English. I should probably go and watch the dub, how they pronounce it. It might help me out. Uh, but yeah, with all that information, it's just curious to me that whatever comes in the future for the lizard men after this like whole entire event. I mean, even the spear supposedly that the father uses accepted him. I mean, I didn't we didn't get to see if the foot soldier who brought it to him, felt the power and he just knew that it wasn't for him, so he just gave it back or something. But that doesn't seem right either, right? It seems like because he was closer to his father's bloodline or something, he was like rewarded that, or kind of guessed that he might be a better fit to wield it or something along those lines. I'm not sure. Hopefully it's explained, or if the weapon is taken away from him and someone else tries to use it and they don't get power, we'll know that it's like lizard man only type of deal or something. I don't know. But we are supposedly 2 days away from going in and helping the lizard men, or at least even having an audience with them. And I have a good feeling that Rim and those ninjas that he has now, they are probably going to scope out the area and see if there's a safe, like if it's all safe and all good and stuff. And I think that will be the true indicator of how we kind of get into this a little bit quicker than we were. I think we're going to send a scout and just see the lizard men have already started something that they were told not to. And it does make sense that the guy who started it was the guy who got pretty much slapped by a man who he is now calling. He he had the audacity to say that the goblin that kicked him in the back of the head clearly had to be the master. Best part of the whole entire episode. Like, I hate his character, but he is super funny. I gotta admit that. I'm not gonna lie. He's super hilarious in my opinion. Just the stupid stuff he says like that cracks me up. Um, but yeah, man, I truly am in a weird place with my email and all that stuff, so it kind of is hard to just act like nothing's happening and just brush it off. So sorry if this video comes off a little bit unlike the others, like my excitement and stuff. I'm super excited to see all this stuff. It's just when real life stuff starts kicking in and it's for the dumbest reasons and you can't even fight it, it just doesn't feel right. Like, it feels like you're pretty much useless, or you're pretty much not important enough to be able to get anything done anymore because that's how they want it. So I'm just in a weird spot right now, but overall, man, I'll be back at it, and that is if all things go well and my accounts get left alone. But hey, that's for the future to tell, not for me to tell you right now. Other than what we got from all the information I said, let me know what you guys think about just there being a demon lord like involved. They clearly say a demon lord, or they state, so they're clearly playing devil's advocate and saying that there is multiple demon lords. There are some that are plotting whatever this is that's being plotted, and there's probably some that are doing things that we haven't even heard about yet. So hopefully these demon lords are going to have like some interesting arcs, because right now this is pretty crazy to see. um, it seemingly they have even another guy in the lizards camp giving them false information, like giving them false hope. So it's like, not only are they playing the warfare of messing with the mind, they're also literally behind enemy lines giving them tips and tricks to mess them up even further. So I thought that was a very interesting way of going about introducing how these fights could be fought throughout the whole entire series, pretty much. Like, there could always be someone who can sneak into a certain army of people who are unknowing, and boom, bam, they're got an upper hand on everybody just because they know the information that was shared between them. So it's getting real interesting. Not only is that, it seems like Rim is kind of the, I don't know well, I was gonna say like the sword loser type, kind of, maybe, or just he doesn't like gambling. That's what I was gonna say. He's not a gambler, and to gamble his whole entire like village of people and people that he's become friends with against an army of 200,000 kind of is rough in his opinion. Like he's like, I don't want to do that crap, man. Like what do I look like? What if we lose? You know, like I want to help, but if we lose, I lose you guys or I lose some people. And the funnier thing about all of that is that's his thought process, right? But for some reason, the guy with less and who picked up 7,000 orcs and um he picks up 7,000. No, he didn't pick up orcs. He picked up 7,000 goblins that are normal goblins, not even the rim ones. So they're just basic goblins. Not only that, they pretty much have, probably the same amount of experience, if not less experience, than the goblins that we knew from the beginning. Oh, I broke the stone, so he fell. Like they had whatever the goblins before they met Rim could do, that's probably about them. Or like even maybe even worse if they haven't been in conflict all the time. Because by fighting, uh, actually no, I don't even think those goblins would unless they've also met with the same guy who gave one of the goblins their name, which was one of the demon lords who gave a goblin a name and made them actually stronger. So they won't even have that aspect on their team. So it's a very interesting position that they're putting these characters in right now, and I'm loving every moment of it because I'm just a hype guy, man. Like once they start putting more and more hype stuff in for me to look into and to be excited about, that's how you sell me on your series. So if anyone's making a series and you have a way of making something hype than it already was before, like this battle was already about to be hype. Now we have the Lizard Man messing up the whole entire way that we're gonna fight. So Rim now has to react on the fly to combat, like go against maybe these big pigs that will have the agility of Lizard Man as well as abilities from the people they've eaten already too when they get there. So I don't know, man. This show is so crazy right now. I can't wait to see what they drop. It's just, is it going to be um, ridiculously dope? I hope so. Is it gonna be quick and to the point? I don't know. But I will be here making reviews for it as long as I can, guys. So thank you so much for the support, and I hope to hear from you guys in the comment section about just what you guys enjoyed, what you guys are still looking forward to, and even other animes that you have heard about. So I read all comments, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. I am the Anime G, and I hope you have a great night, day, evening, morning, whatever the case it may be for you, and I will talk to you in the next one. Peace.